Hi, I'm Ross Kenneth Erkin, personal finance editor at TheStreet.com and the editor of MainSt. This is the Moolah Files, and today as my guest I have Justin Nobel, who's the author of Standing Still in a Concrete Jungle. Welcome.
Thank you, Russ. How you doing?
Good. So tell me about the project and what is the true value of these minute moments that you captured?
Yeah, the project Standing Still in a Concrete Jungle, I lived in New York as a freelance magazine journalist, and I was traveling often to far parts of the world. I spent a lot of time in the Arctic, living with the Inuit, eating raw seal and walrus, and then I went to these remote Pacific islands called Yap, the islands of Yap, which are, it's really as remote as you can get on the planet. It takes a month to get there just on a cargo ship. And I'm having all these experiences that are so different, and you gather up these memories. And then I would come back to New York, and everything melts away in New York. It just dissolves immediately. The memories of this epic adventure are gone because so much information is coming at you in New York that it forces you to forget everything else, and all you have is New York, what's happening. And so I wanted a way to slow the city down. I wanted to try and capture New York City, and I thought the best way to do that is to just stand still in the city, just stand still and observe the minutiae of what's happening. Observe the small moments. The moments as a journalist that they don't necessarily have news value, but they have a different value.
So we were talking earlier about Ivan Checheglov and Ukrainian French anarchist, shamanist, and basically his view of banality. And he has this great quotation, "A mental disease has swept the planet. Banalization. Everyone is hypnotized by production conveniences, sewage systems, elevators." He goes on to say that people value garbage disposals more than love. What do you make of this relative value system in the modern world?
Right, no, that's a great question. Yeah, I love that Checheglov quote, and of course Checheglov went insane, really. He tried to blow up the Eiffel Tower because its light was bothering him. So I see him as someone who was, he was trying to live in a different sort of world, and our world was coming at him swiftly, and he didn't like it so much. But what I make of that is that you can go even further back than Checheglov to maybe some of the Japanese haiku poets. These are people like Basho, for example, who would travel 2 months just to see a moonrise over a certain mountain. And it would be an epic journey. And then they would get there and it would be cloudy. And then they would have to wait another month, but they would. And then finally they would see the moonrise and they would write one haiku, like a 3-line poem about this experience, and then journey back. And it's all in all, it's 5 months for something as small as seeing the moonrise over one specific mountain. So there's something very important to a minor moment, to something small, and what the Checheglov is also saying is that the world moves very swiftly, and so an idea develops and a form develops, and it gets easy to fall into the path of following the form of the world. And he's saying there's something internal, there's something shamanistic, there's something in your core that's actually more important. And it can be love, and of course, how can you argue with that? Like, love is always more interesting than the latest innovation and invention. Choose love, not the garbage disposal unit. Choose love, not the iPad. Choose love, not the Lamborghini.
So it actually brings into relief your new project, which is an encyclopedia project that's directed by The Atlantic. And I wonder, they're trying to basically put a value on individual objects and chronicle these. How does all of your previous mass observation work play into your newest work?
Yeah, that's a great new project called Object Lessons, and it's put together by a professor at Loyola University named Christopher Schaberg, and Ian Bogost, who's a video game guru and teaches at Georgia Tech, I believe. And they have a new website now. It's objects.com. And so this project is the idea that there's value in objects, in these small objects, something like a tennis ball, a coffee cup. What is the history? What is the idea of that object? And so they have writers from academia to people like me, more journalists, to write about these objects, very different objects, And it's forming a mass encyclopedia. It's forming an encyclopedia of the minutiae objects that make up our world. So Christopher and I spoke about that project, and I loved it. And the object I'll be writing about is the encyclopedia itself. And this is a real fascination of mine, the desire to amass all the knowledge of the world. And I really believe that's the mission of any writer or artist. Even someone working in the marketplace, you're playing around with knowledge. New knowledge is being created, and you're just trying to shape that. And in the end, that's all we have to show for on the planet. It's this swirling ball of knowledge that's growing with time and growing. And at the end of time, I think that's all there is. That's all that will be gone. The planets will be gone, but there will be this ball of knowledge that was what happened in existence.
Justin Nobel, thanks so much for being on the Moola Files.
Ross, excellent. Thank you.